Dirk, good to see you again. Hope you're rested from that flight. What do you think of the
good.
meeting and how that went?
Yeah, I think it was good. I like the opportunity because it really speaks to our capabilities in terms of both being able to deal with enterprise data that they have on premise, but also where they want to move to in the cloud. And so what stuck out to me with them is that they had a kind of an emerging team of these younger, hipper, kind of more cloud-oriented DevOps types, and that team was a bit out of step with their established IT. And I thought that we were able to come in and kind of bridge the gap for them, which was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that they were sort of middle ground between the developer really being deeply involved themselves in open source technology, but alongside that they have responsibilities to their partner. I felt like in our conversations we really had a unique position to facilitate that dialogue, give some credence to our platform, and really solidify for them what it meant to deliver on open source but governed by IBM.
Yeah, and then they also they weren't interested in the usual kind of big IT company coming in having a big monolithic solution to recommend, which would not mean it wasn't just about more software license costs for them, but also to have to maintain it and have a bunch of sysadmins and so on.
Definitely.
So
I think we kind of mitigated the fear a bit of that lock-in, and that was a huge part for them.
Yeah.
In the discussions that we had, they were concerned particularly with, we've worked with other vendors, we understand that self-service doesn't necessarily mean managed, and self-service can often mean that you're self-hosting. And in terms of managed versus hosted, being able to lift and shift from our platform onto other vendors and move the existing work that they had on separate vendors onto our cloud, I think all that really kind of put them at ease. And in terms of satisfying their requirements to the peers that they're working with, the municipality that they're ultimately building for, that for them was a huge step forward, putting their minds in that mindset.
Yeah, and especially for some of the more DevOps type people that were there, they really like the notion of being able to get started really quickly and kind of expand and grow. And what I mean, some of the business folks that were there when they were thinking about what's this going to look like in a year after we have a year's worth of customer data, and as people are going through, what if we want to expand the app to have more machine learning or some of these artificial intelligence capabilities? Well, we have a platform that we can build on with that. So it really gave them a vision for how to start quickly today, but also how to expand in the future, I thought.
Yeah, it was sort of demystifying the whole experience for the developer. I mean, they understand that you can provision quickly.
Yeah.
These technologies are built off of founded, well-proved out technologies themselves, but being able to deploy that into a reference architecture or a full stack that encompasses some work that they've done elsewhere, work that they're looking to deploy with IBM services, and rolling into all that mix is open source. And I think for them there was a lot of concern. This is often something you and I hear about all the time, that open source is not fit for purpose in the enterprise. Platforms like Compose that we talked to them about have that governance layer around it. In particular, talking to the engineers, I think they really enjoyed hearing about that consistent, repeatable pattern of deployment. I know for the full stack guys, knowing that Group A in North America, Group B in Europe or Asia, they want to have the same deployment of that database according to best standards. And I think we kind of delivered on that.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite part of the whole call and of many of my engagements with customers is when we go in with an open source message, because they have a preconceived expectation of, here comes IBM, they want to sell us a bunch of services, they want to sell us a mainframe or whatever, and then we go in with an open source message, and then especially when we tell them about all the work that we've done to make open source consumable and viable in the enterprise, about all the legal work that we've done, the fights that we've had on behalf of enterprises wanting to use things like Linux and so on. That we helped found Apache, that we've more people contributing to Apache products than anyone. All those things were great messages.
That was huge. I mean, talking about IBMers marching into the room, I'm coming from San Francisco, you're coming from Toronto. I think we really delivered on a new impression of what IBM can deliver to a customer. In my office, we referenced the opportunity to come and talk to the contributors from IBM that are actively engaged with Spark. You have the Spark Technology Center in the downtown. Fantastic area for people to take advantage of. And it really helps to illustrate, make flesh and blood the commitments that we have to open source, and the fact that our platforms like Compose, like Bluemix, are heavily invested into that mindset.
Yeah, it's not just lip service, there's real stuff behind it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So in terms of next steps, what do you think of the challenges they had around migration? I think there were some questions that we dealt with there.
Yeah, I think in some cases that there are parts of the platform that are well baked, that are done, like our Compose, like Cloud and DashDB, and I feel like with some of the integration, where we have a really good product roadmap. Some of the pieces, as we're looking ahead into the where their future app state is going to be, some of that is not available outside of beta yet, and so there might be a bit of kind of asking them for a bit of patience and to stay involved with them on our part and to keep development involved to help them out and to hold their hand and stuff.
I think so, and the commitments that we've made in terms of staying involved all the way throughout the engagement, I think gives a lot of assurance there. Open source technologies, some of them are more mature on the curve than others. I think the migration and tool sets that are available to make the move from one cloud to the next kind of reflect that pattern. But the investments that we've made in particular on the Compose platform, on some of the connectors built into Bluemix,
exactly,
I think that helps to mitigate a lot of that challenge.
Yeah, we have a lot of stopgaps. I mean, and so when it comes to the full governed vision of all of our services working together, I mean that is definitely it's an aspiration. We'll be there this year. Yeah. But while we do have mitigations in place to help them get work done today in a secure way, I think that where we want to get to with them is especially for the more established IT group, which is not used to continuous development like we see in the cloud. And it's not just our cloud; it's every cloud has this.
Exactly, and it's who they're reporting into as well. They're serving as the builders. They themselves are fully committed to open source. They love that idea, but had to provide that kind of assurance to the municipality that they could deliver on this in that kind of secure, repeatable, demonstrable way.